Prarthana, one of the important things in this whole journey is capability development, and I think CDP is in a great position to help companies in this. So, how do you kind of envisage this from a national capability development across companies, across various entities, and to ensure that we have the right skill sets to undertake this journey in the next few years?
So that's a very important question, because I think our disclosure doesn't end with the top 100 companies who have the resources and the capacity to disclose or to assess their net zero transition journey. And one of the challenges I think as a country we face is on the whole aspect of supply chain, because I think there's a lot of discussion on resilient supply chain, but we also need to start talking about the sustainable supply chain. And CDP data over the years has revealed that the emissions from supply chain is almost 11 times the emissions from an operations, internal operations. So I think, I don't know if many people know, but CDP also does have a supply chain disclosure program. And in India, we just began it last year. And it has been, I mean, our observations have come from these 3 supply chain clients we have who are actually motivating or asking their supply chain to disclose, which is almost about 700 supply chain members. What we saw is that there is an intent, there's a desire to disclose, but the capacity there is very less. Particularly because many of these, and we don't talk about this often, but many of these are SMEs or even MSMEs. So I think one of the areas where I'm glad you brought it up, Kaushik, and I'm glad that I'm in a CII forum, that I think there's a huge opportunity there for organizations like CII and CDP to work together and develop how we could look at capacity development. Because as of now, because we're a global organization, our capacity development is more directed towards how to disclose and how do you actually, fill in a questionnaire and how do you generate that information, but no one actually goes deeper into the process of disclosing. So I think that's an area where we see a very strong capacity development requirement. The second is, we have just started the Science-Based Targets Incubator, and it's a innovative kind of a model that we're starting with India. And there again, we find that, in target setting, there is a lot of needs in terms of, all the background, say, inventorization that you need to do. And there again, we feel that there's a need for capacity development. But I don't think CDP alone can do this. And I'm sure there are a lot of, organizations who are here or elsewhere who can actually build it. So I would actually recommend that, some kind of a partnership models evolve in terms of this capacity development, because there is going to be a huge need there in terms of these areas, because, right now, as Amarjit ji said, we are looking at 1,000 companies, but at some point of time we'll extend beyond, and there is going to be a need to train in terms of multiple aspects. I mean, whether it's target setting, whether it's looking at internal strategy in terms of net zero transition, and disclosures actually will play a major role. So, while to answer your question, yes, CDP is looking at capacity development, but I think there's also an opportunity for other organizations to collaborate and to feed into this whole process of capacity development.
Thanks, Prarthana.